I'm going to start recording and we'll kind of get moving because I know
Okay.
on our side we've got some things and we
Okay.
want to definitely even get this information out via recording. So
Sure.
that's okay. We'll have a very intimate conversation. All right. All right. Okay. Well, I'm still going to run through the slides and all the things so that you can kind of see what's happening here. But I dropped in the chat a link to a Google Doc that has all of the links that we're going to walk through this quick presentation and conversation. So feel free to jump in and grab that Google link and further explore. There's links to the hotels, there's links to the conference overview page, there's links to National Ag in the Classroom, um, all the things. So we're excited to get rolling here. So I am going to get started. This is the National Ag in the Classroom Conference. What is it? Zoom with Wisconsin Agriculture in the Classroom. And we are talking about the conference that you should be attending this summer, which is the National Agriculture in the Classroom Conference. And it's going to be in Salt Lake City. So joining us today is Denise Stewardson, the Utah Agriculture in the Classroom Coordinator, or Director, rather. She has several titles, so she can explain them. But she has been, and her team have been hard at work planning for this year's conference. And she's got some really cool things to share with us, some insights. And then we're going to jump into what to expect, how to plan, and where you can find scholarship information. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Denise.
Okay. Are you running a Zoom or want to? You've got that? You've got it?
Yep, I've got it. Hopefully
Okay.
you can see my
Yes,
presentation.
I can see it. Yeah. So if you just want to go, I know what your next slide, I can't remember what your next slide is, but
What to expect.
oh, okay. So, hi, thank you, Beth. I am Denise. And we've been planning this conference since 2019. We were supposed to host it in 2020. And then, of course, COVID hit. And so we had to cancel. And so we're back on track now for 2024 and very excited to welcome everyone to Salt Lake City. So as Beth said, we'll be in Salt Lake City. We'll begin in June 24th, on June 24th, with some meetings and a pre-conference tour. So our first pre-conference tour, well, our only pre-conference tour will be to Olympic Village. It's in Park City, which is about 25, 30 miles east of Salt Lake. So when you fly into Salt Lake, you land at the airport, you will travel east to downtown Salt Lake. We're staying in the beautiful, swanky new Hyatt Regency Hotel. It is gorgeous. It's going to be just a wonderful place to have a conference. It's not even a year, well, maybe a year old about this time. So really, really nice hotel venue for us. So the pre-conference tour will be at Olympic Park and historic downtown Park City. And so we'll get you on a bus on Monday, the 24th. It will start about 9 a.m. And we're going to go till 4. And so it's an all-day trip. We'll head east towards Park City, and we're going to go to the Utah Olympic Park. That facility was built for the 2002 Olympic Winter Games. And there you will see about 400 acres that hosted the bobsled, the skeleton, the luge, and the Nordic combined events. It's an official United States Olympic Training Center. And so hopefully when you're there, I've seen this several times when I visited, you'll see the skiers come down off the mountain and jump into a pool of water in the summertime. They're still training year round, and that's really kind of awesome to see people on skis going down this, looks like a plastic hill, and then jumping into a swimming pool. And you'll also view one of only 4 sliding tracks for bobsled in North America, one of the highest Nordic ski jumps in the world. And then we'll tour the 2002 Winter Games Museum. And then the bus will take you down into Park City, right into the town. And so you'll have lunch on your own. You'll have the day to shop. Historic Main Street in Park City is really, really nice. It has a free fare Main Street trolley. There's a mining museum, over 200 shops that have really just wonderful, unique, artistic local flair in those shops. Fantastic restaurants. And so you'll be able to visit downtown Park City. So that will be on Tuesday. And then, excuse me, on Monday, on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we start out, and I think Beth has the schedule linked on our notes here. Tuesday morning, we start with a welcome, and we're going to hear from the Utah Department of Ag and Food Commissioner, Commissioner Butters. He's going to welcome us all to Salt Lake City. And we have a brief breakfast, a very brief breakfast. We'll hear from some scholarship winners from the Tribal Agricultural Fund. And then we start on our traveling workshops. And so this is a highlight. Emily, have you ever been to a national conference?
I have not.
Okay, so this is one of our, this is just to me a great highlight. And so on the traveling tours, those will take place right after breakfast. We'll all hop on buses depending on what you register for. We have, I think, 9 or 10 tours that we're finalizing this week, actually. I've listed a few of them here. On the left is Ashton Gardens. It's at what is called Thanksgiving Point. It's a beautiful site down just south of Salt Lake, just a few minutes drive. There's a farm country there that has demonstration gardens. The Master Gardener program runs out of there. There are animals there for us to see. But the picture I've shown here is in Ashton Gardens, and it's one of it's the world's largest human-made waterfall. It's beautiful. And so the gardens won't be quite in full bloom, but they'll be pretty close the end of June. It'll be really, really pretty. So that's one of our tour stops. Utah ranks second in the country in terms of tart cherry production, right behind, well, not right behind, ways behind Michigan, but we rank second in tart cherries. So we're going to take a bus south. For those of you who want to go on the tart cherry tour, it'll be a fantastic tour to learn all about our tart cherry industry. Below that tart cherry picture is Welfare Square. That's a very, very unique operation situated here. It's run by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's a modern facility. That tower that you see is 178 feet tall. It's a grain elevator. That whole complex houses a storehouse, a bakery, a cannery, a milk processing operation, a thrift store, and an employment center. And all of that together combined helps people help themselves by fostering self-reliance, meaningful work opportunities for service that are there, and they send humanitarian needs worldwide. It's a fascinating tour. I don't think you'll ever see anything like it anywhere else in the country. On the top right, this is our friend Chris. He runs Rustling Aspen Farms. It's a very small community-supported agriculture operation that's in Midway. It's past Park, a little bit past Park City, so it's a little bit of a ride. We'll let everyone know that's going to be kind of a long bus ride, just about an hour bus ride, but it'll be worth it. When we're out there in a town called Midway, you will meet Chris and learn about his CSA operation. Just a wonderful place. We visited that and have eaten at the restaurant that he provides his fruits and vegetables to. And while we're also there, we'll go to Kohler Dairy. It's a dairy that has a robotic milking operation and a artisan cheese operation. Fantastic cheeses. And so you'll learn from the Kohler family all about that operation. On the bottom there is a handful of brine shrimp. And I know it sounds kind of odd, but Utah is home to one of the largest and most, what's the word I want? It's highly renowned, world renowned producer of brine shrimp that comes from the Great Salt Lake. It's not shrimp that you eat, it's Artemia. And so that Artemia is brine shrimp that's harvested and processed and stored there in an operation in actually Ogden, Utah. So we won't be on the Great Salt Lake, but we'll hear all about their operation. It provides quality brine shrimp products to commercial fish breeders and hatchery managers, university researchers. It's just a fascinating tour. And so I think this is, you'll never see anything like this unless you travel somewhere overseas, but we're pretty excited. And so we'll see other places like Lehigh Roller Mills. If you've watched Footloose, you see the big roller mill in the background where the kids go and have their dance. That's a family-owned facility that's been around for generations in Utah, and we're going to go visit that. We're going to go to Roots High School, which is a agriculture high school. And so we've got just a whole bunch of tours put together that I think you'll just have trouble picking out which one you'd like to go on. So make sure you register early because it's first come, first serve. So after traveling workshops, we will get back together. We'll have an afternoon break with our exhibitors, and then we'll have our concurrent workshops. And so those are hands-on workshops that will run all Tuesday afternoon. Tuesday night is a free night in Salt Lake City. We're not going to plan anything because there's just so much to see. You're going to be right downtown. That's a night that most folks go with their state teams, out to dinner. We're going to give you a list to make sure that you know of all the well, not all the options, but many of the options that are available right downtown. There is a downtown light rail that has a free zone. And so you can ride the light rail, you can get Ubers, you can get taxis, you can walk. It's really, really nice. That's the nice thing, is that we're going to be in a beautiful downtown area full of nightlife. There'll be a lot for you to choose from. On Wednesday, we start again with breakfast. We'll have the White Reinhardt winners from the American Farm Bureau Association. We'll have the CHS Foundation Scholarship recipients awarded at breakfast. Then we have exhibits, of course, again, and more workshops. That day, Wednesday, is also our luncheon, where we honor our excellence in teaching about agriculture award winners and our program winners from our state and territory programs. Then, of course, we have more workshops, a reception with our exhibitors that evening, which will be wonderful. And then we'll have our keynote address. Oh, I forgot to mention that our breakfast that morning, on Wednesday morning, our keynote will be Dr. Ross Peterson. He's a colleague of mine at Utah State University in history. He is phenomenal. I could talk to him forever. He's just so knowledgeable about Utah history. And so he's going to kind of set the stage for us. On Wednesday evening, after a reception with the exhibitors, we'll have our banquet dinner, our keynote speaker, which we're still trying to nail down. And then we'll have our big bingo party. And it's going to be really fun. We're going to have a theme. We'll make sure you know what that theme is. It's going to be really, really fun. And then Thursday, we'll start with breakfast. We'll hear from our National Grange, who will award our Partnership in Agricultural Literacy Award. We'll have our 2025 conference preview. We're going to Minnesota in 2025. We'll have some mini workshops. And then you're done. Everything concludes about noon. We are not going to provide a post-conference tour just because there is so much to do in Salt Lake. And so I listed on that Google Doc some fun things that we can do. I mean, there's Red Butte Gardens there. That's up on the bench. We call them benches up towards the mountains near University of Utah. There's the Leonardo Museum. It's a science museum of innovation and curiosity. There's the Natural History Museum of Utah, which is at University of Utah. You can go listen to the Tabernacle Choir rehearse. That's that world-renowned Tabernacle Choir. So you can catch a free rehearsal there on Temple Square, which is also one of our tours, is Temple Square. You can hike in Salt Lake Valley. You can go visit the local ski resorts. You could ride the gondola. There are 5 national parks in Utah. And so those are day-long experiences in themselves. Just note that many of those parks require reservations, so you want to make sure you plan ahead for that. You can go back to Olympic Village and ride the bobsled if you are brave enough. You can pay me enough money to ride the bobsled, but there's that to do. And so there's just a lot to do. We're in an area that's just overwhelming. So between the workshops there on site, our traveling workshops, and all the sites to see, I think you're really going to learn a lot about Utah. Make sure you bring your water bottle and some comfortable walking shoes, because it's just going to be fun to go downtown and see all there is to see. It's very, very dry here. Here in Logan, we're about 4,500 feet above sea level. I think Salt Lake is close to that, but it's going to be hot and dry. So bring your water bottle and your chapstick. Bring a hat and your sunscreen. That's very, very important. Those of you who have been to a conference before, anybody who's listening and you've got your Utah B pin, either back in 2020, no, not 2020, 2019, or last year, if you have your B pin, bring it to our table, our Utah Agnew Classroom table, and you can check off that, and we go see your pin, and we're going to give you a Utah treat, a Utah Zone treat. So make sure you bring that with you. So that's kind of what you can expect in a nutshell. And so we're looking forward to seeing you all and hosting you. It's been a long time in the planning, and we're going to have a really, really good time. So we wish you safe travels. And if you have any questions, I know Beth's got her contact information there. It's a great time to meet folks. And then I'll let Beth continue with some of the costs and what it's going to take to get you there. So thank you, Beth, for this time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. And we are looking forward to seeing the rest of the amazing events and keynotes and workshops that are being planned, and are eagerly awaiting some of those conference award winners. So I feel you. So I'm going to just pick it up really quickly, and we'll talk a little bit about how to budget for national conference. And since we are traveling from Wisconsin, airfare makes or breaks this suggested budget. I was on Expedia this afternoon and just poked around for flights from Milwaukee, from Green Bay, Appleton, and even out of Chicago and the Twin Cities. And the airfare is somewhere between 500 all the way up to 1,000 if you're traveling out of a regional airport. But I think what's really important is there's other ways to save money by making your plans early. So conference registration is will begin at $485. That's the early bird registration that goes through May 12th. After May 12th, on May 13th, that bumps up to, is it 560, Denise? Oh,
I'm sorry. Oh, the conference registration. Yes, it'll go up to 560 and then 640 something after on site. So you want to make sure you register by that. I think it's May. I put it in here somewhere.
May 12th. May
May
12th.
12th. Yeah. Yeah.
It's definitely on that Google sheet. And also
Yes.
it's on the conference website at the national at agclassroom.org. The other piece that where you can save some money is on hotel. As Denise mentioned, we're staying at a beautiful hotel downtown. It's going to be well worth the dollars, just so you don't have to drive in and out, and you'll be right where everything is. The nightly rate on that is $275 for a single or a double occupancy. But they also have rates for 3 people or 4 people. So if you wanted to, you could split that. And I have a link in the Google Drive to a form that you can submit your name if you're interested in trying to find a roommate from Wisconsin. Last year we had a couple people room. They just did the double occupancy. Everybody got their own beds. It helped out the general conference because when everyone starts taking their own room, we really fill up the room blocks and then everyone gets spread out. So we're really would like to our Wisconsin attendees to kind of hang together, get to know each other, and build that support group. So we're all with each other and supporting each other when we're back home in state. So that hotel again is 3 nights, $825 after tax and all of the things for 3 nights. And again, we're to that next line item, which is airfare. It is if you find a deal, I say book it, and then we'll figure out the rest of the logistics. But that airfare piece is definitely something that is beyond our control. If you want to drive, go for it. I'm going to fly. It's a little bit of a trip. So once you're actually on the ground in Utah, ground transportation, I know there is light rail that you can take from the airport to downtown to get to the hotel. But I did a little research on an Uber from Salt Lake City International Airport to downtown, and it runs anywhere between $15 and $30 depending on the size of the Uber and all the things. So definitely want to budget, and that's I just put the round trip of 15 in there, so somewhere around 30. And then throughout the rest of the conference, depending when you arrive, if you do the pre-conference tour, which sounds amazing, the Olympic Village tour sounds so cool. You will have an additional cost to that, plus the cost of any additional meals or incidentals. I always come home with educational resources because everyone has great books at the trade show. There's American Farm Bureau Foundation for Agriculture always has like the newest books and the teacher guides. And so I always plan a budget of some dollars for just those educational pieces. What's really exciting is we are going to have a Wisconsin dinner night on that Tuesday of conference. So Wisconsin Agriculture in the Classroom and Wisconsin Farm Bureau Foundation will pay for our state to go out and enjoy an evening together. So that meal will be courtesy of Wisconsin Farm Bureau Foundation and Ag in the Classroom. So that brings our total, like a very bare minimum, to around that $2,000 mark. That's kind of what we've been suggesting to budget for this year. Again, the flights is a little bit of a wild card, but we can probably bring that number down if you share a hotel room, if you register early, and if you apply for a scholarship. So that's my next piece, and I know that this is probably what I'm hoping what everybody is waiting for, which is a really amazing scholarship opportunity that the National Ag in the Classroom Conference National Ag in the Classroom organization has really worked hard to pull together so that we can bring teachers to this amazing conference. So this year, the scholarship is going to cover one early bird registration and up to 4 nights of lodging at the conference hotel, which is the Hyatt Regency. So that's a huge dollar value. And in previous years, they gave out many of these conference scholarships, but they only covered the registration. So this year, they're making it a little more competitive and bringing that number down. But we're hoping that by providing a larger conference scholarship, that more people will be able to take advantage of that and really attend. So if you are interested in filling out that scholarship, they are due February 15th, so in about 2 weeks from the date this is recorded. That application is live. And what's great about this is there's really only 3 questions to the scholarship application, and there's a word limit. So I've got some tips to help you be maybe a little more competitive. The first piece is that you must meet the scholarship qualifications. So you have to be a state certified classroom teacher, depending on your state, not Utah's state requirements. So your state certification. You need to be a pre-K through 12th grade teacher. And then to ensure that we're funding and sending teachers who are headed back to the classroom, you need to be currently employed by a public or private school district and plan to teach during the 2024-25 school year. We all know that things happen, but as long as you are wholeheartedly planning to teach and headed back to the classroom, I definitely encourage you to apply for the scholarship. So if you've never filled out a scholarship before and you're thinking, Beth, what do I need to think about? So here's some four really quick tips to maybe differentiate your application, because I've judged these applications before and they read very similar. Everyone's very passionate. Everybody likes to teach agriculture because they think it's important. But the ones that really differentiate themselves really talk about how they're going to bring it beyond just a lesson or just their school. They really talk about the impact of maybe a cohort of teachers, or the impact it could have for a grade band or multiple grades or a school, or even a county or district wide. So really think about those impact questions, because there's 3 questions that just really ask why you want to attend, how are you going to share the information, and how are you going to incorporate it into your classroom lessons. So really just be very thoughtful about those questions.
And Beth,
So,
excuse me, I put the link to the National Agricultural Literacy Outcomes in the chat.
oh,
And
perfect.
so they might be on I haven't looked at the whole scholarship, but it could be on that scholarship, but just in case, the link is there.
Yep. And I know I put the link into that Google document that we're going to share out with the recording of this. So I appreciate that. I suggest reading the NALOS, which is the National Agricultural Literacy Outcomes, because it's very much, I feel like it's one of the foundational documents that really explains the purpose of national agriculture in the classroom, the curriculum matrix and the lessons, and really what our focus is and how we tie to state standards, whether they be national standards or individual state standards. It just gives a little bit of background. It might help you navigate what types of language to use in describing your curriculum tie-ins, and how you plan to disseminate and how you value agriculture within your curriculum. So I really do recommend that. And that will also just help you build a little familiarity with the organization as a whole at the national, and then what we're working to do at the state level. So get yourself set up by reading those NALOs. Begin this application process as soon as you can. If you have not already looked at it, take a look at it today, tomorrow, and really start to think about those responses and how you would like to, again, differentiate yourself in a very short amount of words. And then once you have that, I recommend typing your answers into a Word or a Google Doc. That way you can kind of play with it. You get the benefit of spell check. You get all the word counts and the space counts. And then you can save it. And when you're ready to roll, you can just cut and paste it into that application. And of course, proofread and then proofread again. This is a pretty competitive scholarship, And we really look for those that read well. Everyone has, I mean, you can have a typo every once in a while, but we really want to make sure that we put forth our very best writing, and that it reflects our intentions and the passion that we all have for bringing agriculture into our classrooms. So those are my quick tips for that scholarship application. Again, that link is in the Google Doc, and you can find it on the it links from the Wisconsin Agriculture in the Classroom website. So we went through a very large amount of information very quickly. It was a little bit of a crash course of what to expect. And Denise and her team have just an amazing conference ready for us. So we want to make sure we get all the awesome teachers from Wisconsin who are doing amazing things in their classrooms, and those who want to learn more and learn and see from other people from across the country. So lots to look forward to, but we've got some opportunities to get us all there. So I had planned for a chunk of time to take any questions. So I'm going to open it up to questions. And at this point, Emily, do you have questions?
Not at this moment. I was just curious what it was all about, and kind of how the conference went. So you kind of covered all that for me. So
Here's a question I always ask when I go to a conference, and you'll hear more about this. We'll have an app, we'll have a mobile app available for the conference. And so I would encourage everyone to download that. And I know I'm a paper person. I like paper conference schedules, but I've learned over the last couple of years since we've used this app, it is very, very helpful and very useful. So I'm really okay. I'll wean myself away from that paper schedule, but use that. That'll be very helpful to get information, maps, and what things to do after hours, those kinds of things will be very helpful. What to wear, it's business casual. So, we have professional meetings, they're workshops. And so you want to be comfortable, but still, be professional. And so, what you might wear to teach in is fine. And then our traveling tours, you'll want to be comfortable, and we'll give you detailed information for each tour, what might be required. Most of our tours will require closed-toed shoes. That's just a given. So just get a nice, comfortable pair of closed-toed shoes, and make sure you have a hat and sunscreen and that kind of thing. We'll provide water and snacks on the buses, but bringing a water bottle is always helpful. Bingo night, we are going to announce that during registration. We're just tweaking and fine-tuning our theme for bingo night. So you want to pack a fun little outfit or some fun hats and glasses or whatever you'd like to dress up as according to our theme, and we'll announce that. So those are the kinds of questions I always want to know. What do I wear?
Yeah. One thing too that I run into each year from participants is, how do we get our CEUs or our documentation? We email those out after the conference, and then you kind of fill in you get a certificate that says you registered and you showed up, but then based on the number of workshops that you attend, you will actually be the person to fill in the number of hours that you completed for CEUs. So just be aware that that is part of the conference, and we don't really highlight that, but I think that's a really important piece that you'll want to bring back to your school and your administration, and depending on all the pay scale and things, you'll want to have documentation for that. So yeah, with that, we're so close to getting ready to register. It's really wonderful to start thinking about summer. And if you're new or thinking about this, a conference, it's an incredible event. I went to my first one when I began with agriculture in the classroom 2 years ago in New York, and was absolutely blown away by the level of workshops. Absolutely love hearing from teachers who are teaching in the classroom. Really gain a lot of insights, and it's very meaningful. And everything has just been very, very well done. So we've got high expectations that we're bringing to Utah, but I know that you're going to blow them away. I'm just looking at those tours thinking, man, I have to be the first to get registered. So this year in Wisconsin, we're again trying to do a little more prep work to help connect people with housing, answer any questions, get folks registered early. And we want to get some of those scholarship winners so we can get more folks out to the conference and bringing it back to their classrooms. So we were we want to thank Denise for her time. We really appreciate you jumping on, and we're going to continue to share the recording of this so that more people can listen to it and get excited to go to Utah, and of course apply for some of those scholarships and start planning how we're gonna get to Salt Lake. So with that, are there any final thoughts that we need to throw out to the world and the wind to get everyone motivated to go?
Thank you, Beth. This is awesome. I think you've done a great service for your teachers. It's really, really good information. So thank you.
Well, thank you for having us. All right. I know Emily's going to be there, so I hope those of you who are joining us either live or later, we'll hopefully see you out there, and look forward to hearing from you all soon. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.